Hey, Brendan. I love you.
I love you. Hey, Peter, I love you.
Oh, Brendan, I love you.
I love you so much. We are back to the warehouse for ball and play. We have a new champion. I have not been drinking. Let's talk ball. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, the podcast about ball sports in the warehouse, but lately about ball in play. I'm your co-host, Brendan Ruppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey, man.
I love you.
I love you. I love you.
I love you.
It's a new
That's
thing.
it? You're just going to go to one and then quit?
I don't love you that much, man.
You're a chicken. We're trying to honor our brand new ball and play champions. As Darren Sammy says, the I love yous.
Yeah, I love yous.
And you're here not saying it?
Fine, I fucking love you.
I love you.
I love you, baby.
I love you so much.
Oh my god, I love you.
Love ya. It kind of went as expected, huh? Like in a good way. Well, we talked about this before we got on. I do have some feelings. I do think that the game was a PD hot takes today.
PD hot
A little
takes.
lackluster. I think the game would have been more exciting if Hookline never took the lead in the second. But
Yeah. Also hard to conquer last year's final. You texted me. You knew I had watched it before you because you didn't get a chance right away. You're like, how was it overall? Like without giving spoilers, and I said it was good. Not like the best game we've seen. We've seen much better games in this tournament, but it was still like
Yeah.
exciting enough. I think the first half was exciting, which I think proves your point right. That if they again that have been the third time in a row they didn't have to bat a second or strike a second time.
right.
So that would have been pretty. It would have been a cool streak. Would have been a dominant ending to a game. But they basically
You think they
did
should
that.
have gone on a streak?
They should have gone on the streak. Peter knows I loved streaking in high school,
Well, I didn't know you in high school.
so I didn't know that.
So, well, I guess that's new information for everybody.
Yeah, streaking and pool hopping was big in my neighborhood.
I knew about the pool hopping.
That was during the streaks. Once streaking wasn't enough, we had to add another element to it.
Oh, man. You were like fucking addicts. Like, what can I do to get my jollies?
Yeah, it's fun.
BBD pooped on record.
He pooped on record.
Get it on the record.
He took a massive corn-filled dump.
Cornfield dump.
Corn-filled dump.
But why don't you burn? Because what I want to talk about first is something for after the burn.
Okay, yeah, I got everything out of my system. I wanted to talk about the corn-filled dump, and I got nothing else on my agenda.
Cornfield dump. Yeah. Cornfield dump. Go ahead and burn while this cornfield dump makes a shit in my pants.
It's the team that defends the belt versus the ones who melt your heart.
Oh, restart it.
Run it back. I just
All right,
turned
we'll
it up
start it
instead.
over again. It's ready. Cornfield dump.
Cornfield dump.
Cornfield dump.
Cornfield dump.
Let the power of the cornfield dump come through
Come
you.
through.
So you can burn this I love yous versus hooky line.
I love yous. Who can any stinky's cornfield dump?
Oh, cornfield dump.
Nobody saw anything. It's the team that defends the belt versus the ones who make your heart melt. Aces are not wild as Moylan bowls himself to be Golden Bowler yet again before handing it to Nikki, holding hook line to 26. Hookers need a stop, but Lovia's bats seem to have pop. Hook line's bowling duo gets tagged for almost 60. Lovia's almost skips the bottom half for the third time in a row. But the Hookers' bottoms have power as the striking subs make it a game. Not so fast. Lovia's wins pretty easily. Lovia's are your Ball and Play League 2 champions. I love you so much.
Oh, I love you.
I love you more than anything in the whole world.
Oh God, I love you.
Oh God, I love you.
So the number one thing that I want to talk about here, if Hookline had won the toss, do you think that they would have tried to like get under Lovia's strategy of chasing? Because Lovia's developed this strategy in the knockouts of we're a chasing team, we're gonna chase.
Yeah.
The opposite of everybody else. Do you think that Hookline would have done that, or do you think Hookline would have said, no matter what happens, we strike first?
Yeah, maybe they would have just stuck with it because they've won us before by doing this exact thing, so they don't want to mess with their formula.
Baby formula.
Their baby formula.
That's what they all. That's what
It was coming out of BBD
so,
like baby formula.
Um, 1 second. Sorry. BBD texted us. Everybody knows this at this point.
Yes.
BBD Texas scoops.
Well,
Right?
Instagram messages us. He refuses to give up his number because he knows we will call him nonstop.
Right. We
Which is
do.
fair.
We know his number.
I
You
call a
him
different
on.
number every day, hoping it's him.
It's true. Calling from a different number, you mean?
That's right.
He told us this year, and he does think that this might have been a jinx on the team. They've ditched the milk. Ball's not dunked in milk. They're dipping it in
Yeah.
baby formula.
You know what? I'm so glad we got to this by the end of the season. We got to.
Thank you, BBD. Brendan hit the clippy claps for BBD. Thank you for giving us the inside scoopy doop. Thank you, BBD.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Booby Doo.
But for real, they elect to chase. Love yous. Win the toss, elect to chase. What a shock.
Peter,
it's been
I'll
their
tell you
strat.
what, that's who I'm going to elect this season.
Chase from Zoe 101? Whoa. President Chase. Not Matthew Underwood. I don't know Chase's name. Matthew Underwood was Logan. That's a little Zoe 101 fact for you.
That guy rocked the hell out of a tank top, I'll tell you what.
Rocked the hell out of it. Peter Moylan takes the bump. Not unexpected. Some may say very expected.
Yeah.
Brendan, how many runs does he give up in this first over?
Let's see. I'm going to count from the beginning.
Count from the beginning.
0, 1. Oh, that's it. Yeah, just a 1.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Just the 1.
We talked about this all tournament. And now that the tournament is over, I can officially confirm the average runs per complete over is 13.24. Right? That you are essentially every run that you go under 13, every run you go under 13, you can add to your score potentially. So essentially, it's a lot of eventuallys in this sentence.
Eventually.
This over, Hookline scored 1 run. Think of the score right now as 12-1. Love yous. Is that fair to say?
I am not enough of a cricket expert to say that, but I think that
that
math checks
it's
out.
It's not a cricket expert thing. It's just like if at this point in the tournament,
They still have to do it, I guess. Like the runs on the board is runs on the board. They don't have anything on the board yet, so I guess
they don't have anything on the board.
Yeah.
So theoretically, right now, the score is 12-1. Love yous, because the average you could. This is what you should expect from a solid over, not bad, not good. So it's 12-1 right now, in theory, which is an insane lead when you only have 12 balls left.
At the very least, it makes you extremely confident.
Extremely confident.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Aroused, probably.
Hey, what do you got to hit? You got to hit with something?
That's right.
That's some good wood right there.
How do you think they flattened those bats?
Moylan comes back out for the second, gives up a little more this time, but he had a lot of room to go with. Gives up 17. Still, the two overs together are less than average runs. And then we talked about this before, Brendan. Nicola comes in,
who's also good,
to bowl this last one, who's also very good. I think
these both guys in the top 5 of.
They're in the top 5,
runs.
and Nicky only got boosted because he kind of like in that final over in the second inning that he was bowling, or was it final two? Final 2. It was really just like damage control because spoiler alert. First over in the second inning, Peter Moylan also throws just 1 run. And that 1 run is a wide. So it would have been a maiden over if he never threw that wide. Nicola comes in. No, stop it, Pete. Nicky comes in to bowl, and at this point he's just like, let's just make sure we don't give a ton of wides and we win this game. Done. BBD ends up hitting a hat trick of 6s, but that's for later on. And Nicky kind of like boosts his ERA or his economy because of this. Because all he was trying to do is just not throw wides, get out of this as quick as possible, so they
Yeah.
could start hitting again.
I mean,
But
but on that point of BBD hitting sixes later on, so you look at when does he start striking in the third over of the first inning?
BBD does?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's his first.
That's his first at bat. I mean, maybe he shouldn't be one of the first two guys up, but he would be a much better option than Jay has
don't
been all season
know.
long. I mean, it sucks that in this first inning he only gets the
Jay's
one shot and he has a bad. If he gets more reps, BBD could have done what he did in the second inning, in the first inning, and they wouldn't have been such a hole. Like BBD, when he gets a couple at bats underneath him, he starts to strike like a beast. But he just didn't get as many reps because
without
Jay was
looking.
clogging up that initial spot by not being able to scoop like any of the other cricketers.
I know. He kept trying it too, and he just couldn't get to the back wall. He kept getting to little partition between the stands
Yeah.
and the field.
So I don't remember him being a good striker last year either. But then you think like, oh, now we can scoop. This is a
Let's
neutralizing
check.
thing for us, and then he just didn't get good at that either.
Without looking right now, where do you think Jay falls 1 to 32 of players for striking in terms of his runs scored per balls faced?
I want to say like 25.
Really close. 27.
Whew.
So even worse.
Yeah.
And how many runs per balls faced do you think that is?
Runs per balls faced. What's the best number?
2.75.
175. So he's got to be in the low ones.
1.35.
Yeah.
Jay really, like, we talked about this with Baggage. The reason why we thought Baggage was out because Father Shea didn't show up. Jay really did not show up. He was carried by the team. Really.
Yeah.
Like, he was a pretty good bowler. Let's see. Jay, do you want to take a guess where Jay fell? Last tournament was 24 players. Where do you think Jay fell in ball and play one for a run scored per balls faced?
I'm going to say more middle of the pack.
No. Still
Same.
bottom.
Wow.
18th.
Okay.
18th. So that's a 2 even.
I mean, think about
and we saw in the last tournament
the
the averages were a lot higher for the runs scored on balls faced in the last tournament because people didn't really bowling was a lot harder in the last tournament.
But again, like
because
Jay
the
put
rules
himself,
were like you didn't have the curves, everything had to be.
that's true. I forget about
remember?
that.
So
Yeah.
he barely did better in the last tournament. Really didn't do well at all in this tournament, and
he's one of their top two guys. Like he would always play in one of these first two striking spots. He would either wicket out or only hit ones. And this team still got to the championship with this hindrance in the top part of their lineup. I think that says a lot about hook line skills. Having this guy that seemed to insert himself
skills that kills
as a top guy when they had guys on the bench that were waiting to hit. Like at least they knew that Jolly needed to be up there. He didn't perform in this particular game, but
crazy,
which was nuts. It was just like the defining moment of the game.
Let's get into that now.
Yeah.
Let's get into that now. So that's how you saw in this first over, right? Jolly bat 4 of the 6 balls where 1 run was scored. The 1 run not scored by Jolly. Like we said, he had a duck for the game. He had 9 attempts. Spoiler. 9
it wasn't like
attempts.
he wicked it out in the first swing. Like, man, that stinks.
No.
He was getting chances.
It was the 4th. So let's see. First ball, grounded to Hamad, who protects the boundary for a dot. The second one, it hits the zone for a dot. Then again to Dalton, who fields it easily. Then the next one tapped into the air. Jolly runs while Jay stayed put. And they looked at each other. And Jolly was just like, Jay, go. Jay, go. And Jay was just like, no. So Jolly starts to run back and gets run out. He was screaming at Jay to run.
Yeah.
And like Jay
I was in the chat for this
put.
moment, and everyone was like, what the fuck was that, Jay?
It was unbelievable.
I understand
unbelievable.
that. And this is the cricketer, too. I don't understand what was going on there.
It had to be just like in his head, he was like, well, I'm the professional. So if we want anybody in this game right now, it's me.
I guess.
Jolly gets run out. He's out. Jolly.
Or they both could have been safe if they both just ran.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? This didn't worry me too much because we've seen this in the past where Jolly has a bad first inning, comes
Yeah.
back in the second with a vengeance.
Or you see the K-Mac of it all where he wickets out. Like, all right, well, he'll hit more than second inning. Wickets
Yeah,
out immediately again.
right. Drew then comes in and takes over. This is something that we know of Drew. Drew is very good at the plate.
Right.
We talked about it in a previous episode. Drew did reach out to us, say he was sick during this event, which kind of explains his slow start. And he had a big game, 34 runs by the end of this game, almost the most amount of
Yeah.
runs in the game, period.
Yeah. Another guy that, like, look, if you give him chances, he'll find a groove.
Right. But in this inning, like, Drew's doing his thing, switches back to Jay eventually. In the third over, Jay decides to run on a wide. Him and Drew decide to run on a wide. I don't know whose decision it was, but Father Shea showed off his arm and absolutely drilled the far
That was
wickets
awesome.
to get Jay to run out. Then BBD comes in, and then they finish out the over 26 runs, which we've talked about. 26 is roughly what you'd expect from this first over. We've seen a lot of teams go low in the very first 3 overs of the game just
And
to
Hook on
pick it up
Sinker
in the
has done
second inning.
giving you a low number in their first inning too.
Right. And they did. They picked it up in the second inning. They scored 42 runs in the second inning. It's just as we'll talk about now,
You should have done that first.
Lovia's first inning was kind of stupid.
I mean, imagine that they get the 26 without Jolly performing at all. So that if he was there being himself, it could have been a big inning.
Or let's not take away credit from Peter Moylan.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. Like, this is Peter. He was the only one that was able to neutralize Jolly in the whole tournament. So it really comes down to him being the X factor here.
So the fall of Hook Line starts in the bottom of the first, because we've seen them in last year's championship. They had a really poor first inning. I want to say famously it was 17 runs off the top of my head. I'm not certain.
Yeah, it was a wild one.
They come back to win. The big difference here, over 1, 2, and 3, 20, 20, 19. Hook Line starts off with Jay because BBD goes to poop.
Yeah.
Jay gives up 20, and then actually says, well, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
And then BBD comes in. First ball is a dot against Hamad. Very tough ask of BBD to face a pro for the next 3 pitches after his teammate just gave up, what's 20 divided by 26? 77% of the runs that they scored in all 3 overs.
Yeah. But this is what they need to do. They needed to come in here and all right, we didn't score a lot. Let's squeeze this team and make them feel like how we did and neutralize the score and move forward.
It was a dominating
did
performance.
not do that at all, yeah.
At the end of the day, Hamad scores 35 runs in these 3 overs. He gets 1 in the first, and then all of the other ones come from the next 2 overs, 20 in the second over itself.
And this is the beauty of choosing to chase, because you can put pressure on the other team in the first inning instead of the second inning. You can just make them feel like, oh shit, we have to play catch up way before we thought we would.
Listen, if you know for a fact that you have Peter Moylan, who's going to be great on the mound, Dalton, who's going to be, now this is 3 tournaments in a row where we talked about him as one of the best defenders out there. The second tournament obviously being Captain's League, not franchise. But then you have Hamad, who has proven to be very fast with his reflexes and being a good defender as well. And Nicky, who's sneaky good at defense.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you now have Father Shea being a wicket keeper, which is his position as a cricketer.
Right.
Why not? Why not pick Chase when you know that you are a run-preventing team? I think Dalton finished the season 13 defensive runs saved, clear of second place, which was Drew.
Yeah.
When you have something like this, why would you not chase? Why would you not put the pressure on, especially when you have a team full of very confident guys like Lovia's is? Like for Hookline, I don't think like I love BBD and I love Jolly and I love Drew. Drew has a tendency of getting in his head. We know this from all the other sports. Drew has a
Right.
tendency of getting in his head. He doesn't really like believe the confident stuff. It's a lot more of like I need to fucking pull my weight and like do better. BBD is not necessarily the most confident. He's a confident guy, but he's not like we're going to put him up against Nikki. Who do you pick?
He's not
Who's more
cocky.
confident? Right. Like he would feel the pressure as well. I feel like Nikki and Dalton and Hamad are all guys who are just like, give me the fucking pressure. I want to go in down big and show you that we could hang.
I mean,
So,
maybe Dalton more in this sport, but I'd say
I may be
otherwise
projecting.
in blitzball.
This may be Fannin that I'm putting into the warehouse, you know?
Yeah, because especially like BBD doesn't like exude like confidence except for when he's bowling. He is like the guy you want there in a
He's
pressure
the
filled moment, just
dad.
because he's got the granite face that Mel loves to talk about.
Who?
Mel,
Carmelo? Anthony?
Carmelo Anthony.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, you didn't see him tweet at him.
I love you so much.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony, I love you so much at BBD.
So Lovia's, without getting too much more into it, finished the first inning 59-26, up 59-26. You look at, we talked about it before. Maybe I'm falling too much in love with this number, but average runs per over. 13 times 3. 39, right? 39, Brendan,
Is how old you look,
is how old I look. I'm 18.
but your body's giving more 55
55.
or 59. Oh, you know, 59. We'll give it the other score.
So, at best, if they do average for all three of these next overs, you're putting yourself ahead 6 runs. Right?
Right.
Because 26 plus 39 would get them 60, whatever.
60 whatever.
64? Is that right?
Right.
I don't know.
But they do more than that ultimately, and it still like
65.
seems like a very feeble lead that they end up getting.
Well, I mean, what it is right. The bats come alive too late. First inning,
Yep.
Peter Moylan. We talked about this before. 1 run in 1 over, and it's on a wide. So the only thing that you have left is like, all right, we got to touch up Nikki.
Yeah, the fact that they
Try
scored
and
this
force
much
Nikki to
after
get a
only
wide.
getting 1 in the first over is nuts.
Right. So Nikki gets in there, and Nikki's main objective, and we see this, Nikki's main objective is to get through this
no
over
wides.
without throwing a wide. And he lets up 18 runs because of it.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then it's over average,
play
but
to
who
win
gives
the
a
game.
fuck? You play to win the game. But who cares? Nikki stays in.
Does
you
his
know?
job.
Gets 2 wides pretty early in the third over.
This was very Lance Lynn of Nikki.
Very Lance Lynn.
Pound the
It hit
strikes.
the hat. Did it hurt? No, it hit the hat.
What?
You seen that video?
No,
Lynn got hit with a comebacker in his hat.
it
And
didn't
a
hurt.
reporter after the game goes, "Oh, did it hurt?" And he goes, "No, it hit the hat." He goes, "But the hat doesn't protect." He goes, "Yes, it is. It's protective." Well, why would we wear it? He goes, "It's not a helmet." He goes, "Oh,
Actually, it kind of
it's a
hurts. It just
very-
passes out.
very funny video." No, it hit the hat.
Fucking hit the head. Of course, it doesn't hurt.
It's so funny. But Nikki comes in, and like I talked about before, Nikki's primary objective now. They got what? 45 runs. The Lovias has coming into the third over. Nikki's prime objective here is just like, don't throw too many wides, don't let them run too much,
Yeah.
and we have this in the bag. Nikki ends up giving up 23 runs in this over, the most he's given up all tournament. Oh, mama. Whoa, baby. Jokes for just us. He gives up 23 runs. Lovies goes into the final half inning up 9. better than the 6 we talked about before.
Yeah.
So they did it. They beat the averages. But
were you feeling at this point like, you know what, Hookline could do it again? Or you didn't have any hope, right?
there was part of me that did think that Hookline, if any team can do it, it's Hookline.
Right.
Hookline
this
is a
real
big
slim
wicket
lead,
team.
though.
Hookline's a big wicket team. It's a
wicket
super
team.
slim lead, but at the same time, Hookline as a team has obtained 17 wickets.
If the first pitch turned into a wicket, I think I would have been like, it's happening again. It's happening right now. But it
Right.
needed
So I
to
wanted
be
to
the
wait.
first pitch.
Yeah, well, the first pitch was
It was close. I think Drew makes a dive and
never
almost
mind.
catch.
Yeah, it was very close, but it was a 4, and that was the end.
A dagger.
I wanted to say that it was a dot, but then when they switched sides, when Nikki and Father Shea switched sides, and Father Shea started to bat, I was like, hey, the only person worse than this is Peter Moylan, and he's out of the tournament right now.
Right, they have 2 holes
and
going
then
up right now.
he gets a dot and then a 6. Love Yous wins the tournament 70-68.
And we all knew it would be Shea in the end.
Very deservedly. Father Shea was
So funny.
awesome in this game. He did the whole Undertaker thing. We didn't even talk about really like the fact that Jolly started, what was it? The first 5 balls in this second over. He got his 1 run off of getting hit by a Peter Moylan wide, which took him out of the game. And then
big round of applause for Peter Moylan walking off the field.
Huge round of applause, deserved round of applause for Peter Moylan. Then like Drew gets a dot, Jay tips it into the magic hole, and it was just kind of like, you guys fucking Jay.
Yeah.
2 hits, 2 wickets is stupid.
Bad
and
ratio,
you should feel bad.
I'll say.
Feel bad,
You should
Jay.
feel bad.
I know you're not going to listen to this, so I'll talk as much shit as I can.
Put your
You
fucking
prevented
nose
the
in it.
Love Yous from winning. It's your fault.
Suck all the baby milk out of that ball.
Yeah, suck all the, not baby milk, formula.
Oh, is that different?
That's what they make the race cars out of.
Ah.
Just one of them.
There's one of them.
And they got a
makes
race car.
Interesting.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Peter,
there's one in here.
I'll go look outside if I were you.
Oh, no. Your sister just came home.
That is true. That's what her car sounds like. If you're a faithful
Love
listener,
Yous-
you know what my sister's car sounds like.
Love Yous wins it pretty decisively. It kind of felt like Love Yous was always going to win it ever since their first playoff game.
Ever since they lost to
because
Del
they just
Caribe, they're like,
they lost to
wow,
Del Caribe.
why don't we just chase and pitch really well and bowl really well?
Kicked it into second gear. They deserved it big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
But big boy and
That was a theme song to WrestleMania 21. We're all partners in crime. That's WrestleMania Goes Hollywood for those who watched it.
I'm glad you sang it, so I didn't have to.
There you go. Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle.
Versus Steve.
John
Dangle.
Cena versus JBL. Who keeps saying this? Batista versus Triple H.
If you're not on YouTube, you're missing out.
You're missing out. I'm doing it. I'm making their faces perfectly. Player of the game.
Player of the game. It is me. I have player of the game. I am double
It's
T.
me. Hi.
Well, Peter.
I have player of the game. Whoa.
What a pop star you are.
Taylor was in here. I did a lot of singing this episode.
Taylor
Too much.
gang.
Too much.
Not enough. We haven't had a musical episode in a very
Speaking
long
of
time.
Taylor Swift, who's your player of the game?
Taylor Swift is my player of the game.
Wow. Congratulations, Tay Tay.
Way to go. You needed this. You've been in a rough patch as of recently. Peter, look at that. That beautiful. Oh, Peter, you should hand model. Or maybe, no, just the one finger is nice. The rest of them are
Zoolander?
absolutely disgusting.
You ever watch Zoolander?
Once, a long time ago. I just remember the gas scene.
There's a guy in Zoolander who's a hand model, and he keeps his hand in hyperbolic time
Oh,
chambers.
that rings a bell.
And then Zoolander goes, "Thank you," and then he goes to get up, and he steps right on the glass thing around his hand.
Funny stuff.
Very funny.
All
right,
my player of the game is
back
Peter
to
Moylan.
this. Peter Del Rey, player of the game.
It's Peter Del Rey. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his total runs allowed this game were, but it wasn't a lot.
It's 19. 19 and three overs.
Yeah, and 2 of those were 1 each. Kind of
2
nuts.
of those were no balls. Yeah.
Yeah, and he does it against one of the best strikers in the tournament and completely neutralizes Jolly Olive. And by doing that, he allows his team to win. Without doing
He's the
that,
only one who
the
bolts
game
Jolly,
is a
right?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he really took the game out of Hookland's hands by taking the bat out of Jolly's hands. Really important. Jorley.
Yeah.
Jorley Gorley.
I mean, who else was it going to be? Nobody. Peter Moylan.
Who else
Like I said,
got a round of applause?
I wrote to
We did.
to BBD, and we were talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, it really sucks that like Jolly wasn't able to do anything." I said, "BBD." Peter Moylan had 2 overs where he scored 1 run, where 1 run was scored on him each.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much Jolly was going to help, regardless.
Yeah, I think it would have been a game. I'm not going to go as far as saying like Hookland would have won if Jolly hit like himself. I think it just would have been a closer battle.
Right. I wonder what it would have been if everybody hit their averages. It's such a stupid exercise, but I'm going to do it. But Peter Moylan, 100% is the player of the game. There's nobody else that it could be. There really isn't.
Nobody.
Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. We're going to do this to... This is fun. This is a fun exercise, actually.
You should do this for every game.
I'm going to do this for every game.
And
but
then
this is inclusive of the last... This is stupid,
those games
but whatever.
To what they actually would have
been. This is so stupid because this is for after all of the final stuff goes in. Let's see.
The score would have been 70-68. I just did the math.
74-47, but that's also because one team only bat.
Right.
But regardless. Peter Moylan 1 17 1 the end.
Yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of things too, like good for him for coming into this tournament, not wanting to really play in the warehouse games and just
scared.
Just absolutely, he was terrified.
Legitimately scared.
He actually said he was nervous and like before he's played any games and comes in and just owns it. He was here to do one thing only.
Kiss.
And kiss. And bowl. Just 2 things, I guess. And the bowling was on point. He wasn't here to hit at all.
No,
he didn't do that.
Didn't do no
But he
hit.
bowled the shit out of it.
Bowled it, used his hands. Used his hands, and he said, "I love you so much.
I love you so much, Nikki.
Oh God, I love you so much.
Oh God, Hamad, come here. I love you so much."
That should be the next chant for love you. So Dalton, if you're listening to this, or Moylan, or Hamad, or Nikki, next time it's good. Love yous on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I love you so much.
I
love you.
I love you guys so much.
Come here, let me love you.
Play of the game.
Play the game.
This one play is more of a representation than a play itself. Jolly Olive in the second inning popped the ball up right into Dalton Feely's hands, and Dalton caught it, making Jolly's 9 balls faced equals 0 runs scored. Big,
0.
huge moment. Jolly Olive was going to be the difference maker for for Hookline if there was one.
Right.
And they gave him, like, this wasn't a 1-ball, 2-ball situation, 2 wickets. 9 opportunities to score, and he scored exactly 0 of those 9 opportunities.
And he sat down and he's like,
1 no ball.
I sucked. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish I didn't.
But again, like we said, Drew reached out to us. Him and Jolly were sick.
Yeah.
So it could also be like he had a little bit of brain fog and he wasn't ready for the movement of the pitches and all this. It could also be the fact that Peter Moylan's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
But that has to be the play of the game. Jolly getting popped out in the second to end his day at 0 runs. Kind of unfair. kind of unfair for that
Yeah.
to be the play of the game.
A honorable mention, I
But
guess,
it
would
is
be like the Shea throw out to the far side wickets.
100%. Was that the Undertaker celebration?
Don't
The
know.
dead man, the one where he laid down and then fucking dead manned up.
It might have been.
It might have
It
been.
might have been. Didn't recognize it.
Well, reach out to us. Tell us if that was the play.
Please.
This is a more enlightened Bane. This Bane went to business school.
Yes. He's no longer evil.
Yes.
He's blown up his last stadium.
You know what? I've blown up my last stadium, and now I'll just be a philanthropist billionaire. That's what it is. It's kind of rude to Jolly that this was the play of the game.
But it was important. It was a turning point.
It absolutely was. So,
I got your back, Peter.
thanks, Brendan.
Yeah.
Brendan's got my back. Brandon's got my back.
Hey.
Wait. Brandon's got my back. Brandon's got my back.
Got my
Na,
back.
na, 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 na,
Got my
na,
back.
na. Brandon's got my back. Brandon's back. Brandon's got my back.
We made that song up.
We need more soccer-style chants in the warehouse.
Ooh, okay.
I want in the next ball and play. I want a hey Jimmy.
Ooh.
Ha. I want to know, will you run them out?
Yeah.
I
like
want
that.
one of those.
Yeah, okay.
Take notes, guys. It's an NYCFC chant. BBD Memorial Defensive Player of the Game.
Pressing. BBD, 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 BBD,
Wow. You want to take the honors for this one, Brendy? Whoa!
Didn't forget it.
Sound effects. I did.
It's Dalton. The guy's good. What do you want from me? He runs. He blocks.
Hey, Dalton.
Ooh. Ha.
I want to know.
Oh.
Will you defend that ball?
Defend that wall. He does. He's back there. He's like a fucking cat. Fucking sexy cat.
Kitty cat, Dalton Feely.
I'm a sexy cat. I'm a sexy cat.
Oh, he's a sexy cat. I'm a sexy cat.
Probably.
Is that Abed?
Yes, Abed doing Nicolas
Okay,
Cage.
I thought so.
In I think season 5.
I think so. Is
Yeah.
that the gas leak?
That's right after the gas, like when it started to get good again. Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, no. Dalton's a sexy cat. He knows it. I do love. We were talking about confidence in players earlier. I do feel like he is very confident in this particular sport. Striking also, but defensively, he's no. Like, if you get him on your team, you're expecting him to just cover the whole wall.
Dalton's one of those guys where if Nicky and Hamad weren't on the team, if one of those two was not on the team, Dalton is your starting strike pair. At the end of this tournament, Brendan, Dalton had the third highest run scored per balls faced, 2.63. Right behind him at number 4, Hamad, 2.61. Nicky is pretty far down there at 1.88, but he, pretty notoriously had a tough start.
Yeah.
Didn't really get going, I would say, until the semifinal, probably. Where even then he only scored 19 runs. Let's see. He scored 8 in the third playoff game against Del Caribe. He scored 3. Like, he got a very late start to this tournament. But you know what, Brendy? He showed up when it mattered.
That's right.
And when it mattered was in this final. He got his 23 runs for this game, which is, second most on the team.
There you go.
But if not for Nicky showing back up, Dalton would have been both the offensive and defensive power of this team. You have this weird circumstance in this tournament where Dalton was firing on defense, Peter Moylan was firing on bowling, and Hamad was firing on strike.
And
it was
Nicky found it at the end too, like the last couple of games.
Well, but that's what I was going to say. Getting into this, up until the semifinal, it kind of felt like, oh, if only Nikki could start going, or if only they could get a second guy who could start going on strike that's like very reliable. Dalton was holding the fort down to get them to where they got to. Nikki just had to show up at the end to be himself. Dalton not only deserves defensive player of the game, Dalton deserves defensive player of the tournament.
Yeah.
And I think, if he bowled and didn't do awful, he could have a real shot at MVP, our MVP. We know that the
MVP.
John Boy MVP has already been voted upon.
Yes.
But Dalton's defense is ridiculous. The amount of boundaries that he saved, along with Hamad. But
that's valuable
Dalton
on
was
its own
really
right.
the standout. Yeah. How many did we say before that he what was his DRS? You know what? You talk about Dalton a little bit. I'm going to get the actual number for you guys.
Yeah, we didn't see Dalton bowl at all, right? I don't think.
No.
Because we had Moylan and Nikki was kind of the duo there. But yeah, I'm sure he's capable. And if you are just, it's like when we saw Lou last season, he was serviceable and like still maybe he was like a top 10 bowler while putting up Lou numbers and like kind of scoring 50 runs at a time on strike. That is so valuable to me. Like I know we were saying that in the actual John Boy Awards, I think Moylan was MVP, and I get it, and that makes sense, and that's good, and we'll tell you our awards when we get there next episode. But I think we're thinking of more of like an all around player, and Dalton is that kind of guy. Probably not going to give it to him because he didn't bowl at all, and that is one of the more important parts of this game, obviously. But we like how well rounded he is.
He's very, 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 very well rounded. But his defense is really what shines.
Yeah.
The brightest. And his DRS, he is responsible for catching 6 wickets.
Wow.
Or running somebody out. And he had 74 defensive runs saved. Comparison, Drew Davis, second place boy. 61 defensive runs saved, 4 wickets caught. After that, it's quite a drop. Toby has 5 wickets and 35 defensive runs.
Oh my God. So
and then
doubles
Jolly,
the third place person.
Yeah, then Jolly, 4 wickets, 40 defensive runs. So it's kind of stupid what Dalton did defensively.
It's fucking stupid.
You know what, dude? It's fucking stupid.
It's fucking dumb bullshit.
You know what? I'm over this. This is fucking stupid.
Turn it off. Shut it down.
Sir, shut this motherfucker down. What do we preview now, Brendan?
Yeah, we're more or less done, so I guess we could. We preview ourselves.
Welcome to the Blitzball, boys. We talk about the Blitzball.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Blitzball next episode.
Next episode, Blitzball. No, we're going to talk about, if you're new here, if you're giving us a listen to for the first time, and you're wondering why the fuck these guys they're recording this so late. The final came out literally a week ago.
They really love each other.
They really love. I love you so much.
Hey.
We're sorry. Life got in the way, as per usual. Hello, I love you. Hey, you know what, Slick? I love you.
I love you. I really do.
Our next episode will be our awards episode, where we will give out our own awards for these players, an MVP, probably best batter, best defender, best bowler.
Best looking.
And then best looking. Me and Brendan are both handsome.
Mine's on my middle finger right now.
Oh, no. Yeah, I play with it all the time. My wife gets really mad at me.
Now I can commit murder.
Oh, no, that's not what that means. We will also be drafting 2 All-Star squads, and then you will tell us who drafted the better team.
That's right. It's always me.
I'm pretty sure. When we did
I draft my
floorball
biggest
last
bulge.
time, the people said I won.
Who told you that?
Reagan, Rust.
Well, was she on your team?
Yeah.
You're going to name all the people that were on your team.
That's what I was going to do. But beyond that, thank you for listening. Thank you for taking this journey with us. Thank you for enjoying this tournament alongside us.
Yeah. Thanks for loving us like we love you.
Thanks for loving us like we just
The loyal listeners.
love
Oh,
you
we
so
love you,
much.
listeners. Oh, my God.
I love you so much. Drink a glass of milk. Get your day
Drink some
going
baby
strong.
formula.
If you're listening to this in the morning, don't drink baby formula. That's what made Hook Line lose.
Yeah, that's true.
They swapped it out.
Stick with the milk.
Stick with the milk. Brendan, if they don't want to drink milk, what should they be drinking?
You can drink Subtle Tea. It's a drink made by me. You can find it at subtlety.com. Use codes. Ooh, whoa, that's cool. Love when that happens. Use code HobbyBoys for $2 off your order of a 12-pack. You can listen to the Hobby Boys wherever you get your podcasts. Recently had the crossover event of the century over on the Hobby Boys. We had my other co-host from the Lonely Boys, which is a show where we talk about Gossip Girl, and a frequent guest of that show as well came on to talk about Blake Lively's new drink line, Betty Booze and Betty Buzz. Blake Lively, star of Gossip Girl. So it was obviously a lot of fun. Listen to us review those drinks and make jokes and talk and laugh and laugh and laugh. Laugh your ass to the bank. We'll pay you if you listen.
Yep.
And listen to the Blitzball Boys on YouTube at the Blitzball Boys.
At the Blitzball Boys on YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
YouTube.
Watch our faces. Look at my new cool hat that I got when I was in Portland this weekend.
Look at it.
Check this out. Wow.
It's cool.
It's a hat. It's cool.
It's rad.
I love clams. As for me, I will plug my brother, Matthew Del Rey. He's a good boy. I love him very much. 8th most attractive man on Nick's Twitter. If you see him in real life, give him a hug and a kiss. God knows he needs it. Placia Stars. Again, thank you very much for listening. We can't wait to have you hear us again.
Can't wait to have you on the show.
In the next episode. Can't wait to have you on the show. Can't wait to have Nate back on the show.
Yeah.
Ref Nate, love you.
Love you. Purple boy.
Beyond that, Brendan, ask me the question.
Got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. Bye.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
I love
I
you
love you so much.